All right, hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Think Small, where we usually talk to small businesses and creators about their small steps for a bigger future. And on today's episode, we are discussing everything about brand building and growing of your small business on Instagram. And to share some insightful insights, we have with us Vidya Sethi, the founder of Maikai. So let's have Vidya with us now. Um,
To join.
Hi Vidya, how are you?
Hi, Dikshita. So nice to finally see you. There was some problem because of which I wasn't able to join. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So for everyone, if you have any questions, just add it to the question section. There's a question mark below. Just add your questions there. All right, Vidya. So let's start by introducing yourself. Yeah.
Well, I have been a graduate of computer science. I graduated from my college in 2012, and then I worked in the IT sector for almost 2.5 years. After that, I was just in the pursuit of a more meaningful career because my whole career in IT was not giving me any meaning, and I wanted to join the development sector, and that's how I found an organization called Teach for India, and I did the Teach for India fellowship where I was teaching public school students of eighth grade for the entire duration of fellowship. And after that, I wanted to still continue working in the development sector. And that's how I joined another organization that was a non-governmental organization. And I worked with them as their brand and marketing assistant. And I did that also for almost 2.5 years. And in this period of 2.5 years, I went from a brand marketing assistant to a brand marketing manager. And I can tell you more about that if you ask me.
All right. So Vidya, what was your final calling? How did you like initially start? Like had that in mind that I have to quit the corporate life and start something of my own.
Well, I think it's just a thing which engineers have. You always engineering is such a diverse career because once you start studying engineering, it just puts you forward and accelerates you on multiple other career opportunities that you can have. And that is the best part about engineering. I'm a computer science graduate, so for me, I studied in KIIT University, which is in Orissa, and
Here?
engineering for almost first.
Yeah, it's
Can you
fine
can
now.
you
It's
see me?
fine now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's fine. Yes, it's fine now.
Yeah. So with all the opportunities that I got in my engineering college with respect to exploring other career opportunities, marketing and brand building was something that came naturally to me. Now I am not a business school graduate. Everything about marketing and brand building is something that I have self-learned. Now I have done multiple modeling projects, multiple internship projects on brand building and stuff when I was doing all of this parallelly while I was still in college. So I always had this knack for social media, and I always used to find social media a really powerful tool. So brand building just came naturally to me. I love that you can empower brands through social media, which is a really big network, and just take something from scratch to a really big place. And that is something I love to play around. And that's how I always started working at smaller or bigger capacities with other companies to build their social media when I was in college. And everything that I have learned about brand building is organic and that is self learned.
That's wonderful. I think my journey is also similar. I'm also not from B school, but right now I'm in a marketing field from engineering, and everything that I have also learned
Wow.
organically only. So while starting Maikai, how did you acquire your initial customers? Like how did you
Initial
spread the
customers.
word?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say that you have to tap into your initial close friends and family circle first. It's the most important. When you're creating your first level of trusted customers will be the people that are immediately around you. And that goes to your best friends, that's your family. And I believe that all family members and friends should individually be available and collectively be available to support your brand in when you're beginning. And that first order from my best friend and that first piece that my family member got was just so meaningful to me, because I knew that they loved what I was creating, and that they were, they are going to wear whatever I'm going to create. And that is a really powerful feeling, seeing people around you, especially people who matter to you, validate you by wearing or by trying out stuff that you're creating is really meaningful. And for me, that was it. I tapped into my closest network. I tapped into people that are immediately around me, and that those were my first customers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I've seen this with mostly small businesses. Like while they start, it's the close circle around them who help them grow. And it's like, when did you exactly start, Maikai?
I started Maikai. I registered the company in August 2019. We started working
Okay.
on our first sample sometime around April, May 2019. And in August, I finally registered the company. And I knew that, okay, this shit is going to be real, because I had taken a sabbatical from my last job in January 2019. And I'm a firm believer that if you really get called into doing something, you should just like deep dive in and do it. The side hustle, it doesn't work for me. And I think it's when you give undivided focused attention on something, it makes much more of an impact than doing the side hustle. I mean, side hustle is great, I'm not against side hustle, but if you want to create a brand of your own, if you want to create something that is big, that matters, then you have to really go in there and deep dive in and create it while it is in the starting phase. And you can't do that with a job. So I completely took break from work by taking a sabbatical in Jan 2019. And then I was working in Bombay, and then I moved to Goa. For 6 months, I was still figuring out what I want. I was decompressing from my past life. Yes, I was prepared for it because I had made my savings. I saved up money. I said, I'm moving to Goa. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to think about what I want to do. I still wanted to create something meaningful. And that's why I still work with local artisans in India. I still have that hint of social entrepreneurship in me from my past job. And that's why I'm still working with the people that I'm working with. But that's how I came to Goa. I completely left the job and I said, I'm going to focus all in here. And in August 2019, we had Maikai.
Wonderful. That's so exciting, leaving the whole state, the whole city where you're staying, and, coming to a new place, starting a new career of your own. That's so exciting. So, what was
It
the
was
social
scary,
media
honestly.
scenario?
It was scary. I won't lie to you. Like leaving my best friends behind, leaving people that cared for me, leaving my support system in Bombay. Bombay had my entire life, right? And leaving Bombay, I've lived in Bombay since 2012, which was a pretty long time. And I had built up my whole network there. So that was my support system. That was the kind of life I loved it. I loved the whole city girl life. And so moving to Goa and living the village life was not easier. I mean, you really love Goa. You come here and you see her half the times you don't have internet, and then you don't have electricity, and then there are things where people face water issues, and these struggles are real. These
Yeah.
are like, you have to really learn to accept and empathize and be kind and accepting towards local here when you come to Goa. And that was one of the biggest breakthroughs in my personal life also, learning how to move from the city life and coming here and adapting or embracing the village life was something that was a big breakthrough for me. Accessible and affordable and available for everybody. And that's why I created Maikai, because I wanted Maikai to be something that everybody loves to wear. And that's why we provide custom sized clothing for everybody. I don't think anybody in India provides that right now. And I am grateful, I'm honored, and I'm proud that these bunch of women that trust us, these bunch of women that are around and have been supporting Maikai to be what it is actually the women that I wanted to provide for. Maikai is not just for me, it is for people that it has been made for. It's for I believe in the divine feminine. I believe in the goddess that's inside every woman, and to cater to every woman's need, to fulfill every woman's independent, unique body measurements, you can't have standardizations. And that's why Maikai was born. And that's why Maikai exists. You know, it exists for all of you. So it was difficult, but it's worth it.
How wonderful, how like really thoughtful the whole process is. And like you said that you started in 2019, right? So what was the
Yeah.
internet scenario, like Instagram business scenario that time? And what are the different marketing activities that you have done so far for Maikai and to reach out to more people?
Well, honestly, if people know what my personal profile looks like, I have a pretty active, moderately active now, because now I'm just 100% focused on Micah, but like a moderately active profile with about 17,000 followers on my personal Instagram. There probably are like 40 or 50 followers or friends from my personal Instagram that are actually following Maikai. So all of the people you see on Maikai's page are not people that are, just following me. But they're people who genuinely love Maikai. And that is really proud for me, because I wouldn't go out and say that, hey, you know what? I have so many followers, and that's how I made sales. I grew the brand organically, and I'm really grateful for that, because one of the biggest things that's helped Maikai grow is word of mouth. Every person that has purchased from us, even if they were not satisfied, post the order was delivered, we have a very robust customer service, which is me, aka I'm the marketing person, I'm the salesperson, I'm the packaging person, I'm the customer service person, small business life. So
Yeah.
I have a very robust system, and I do not flinch or bat my eyelid before giving somebody or offering somebody something from my side completely on me, because I believe that's the potential this brand has. Gaining people, people are assets. Gaining people, gaining honest, loyal, happy people as a part of this community is what makes Maikai Maikai. Money will come through. I don't take money for granted at all, but money will come through if you understand that your customer base is the most important person, and you bring in an attitude of service. You bring in an attitude of, hey, I'm going to make sure that you bought this and this was for you and you will be happy after this, is what keeps a brand growing. And honestly, that's what helped Maikai grow so much. And other than that, of course, Facebook has and Instagram has an amazing boost your post feature, and I still am very I'm still an amateur in the whole social media marketing place. I know how to create good content. I know how to genuinely engage with people, because I talk to people. I go great lengths to engage with people for 15-20 minutes, even if they've just inquired for a product, because eventually the brand is about people. The brand is not about the product. So I'm I am very honest about it when I say that Maikai is here, and it has grown, and it is built based on people, based on word of mouth marketing, based on the actual service and the quality of products we provide. So yeah, that's that. Yeah.
I guess you are very good in the sponsored post part as well, because I personally discovered you from a sponsored post. In the starting of the lockdown, I suppose. Yeah,
Okay.
so I was very interested in all these, all the small businesses and all, but I don't think we had anyone in common, like for with the word of mouth it would exist. But the
Yeah.
even after the spawn, I reached your profile, the profile
Yeah.
was so beautiful that I wanted to engage with the content, with the stories, with the items, with the photo shoots and everything. I think that's also important with the, like, even if we are boosting up
Yeah.
profile, but
Yeah.
yeah, the engagement that we do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I
Yeah.
said, word of mouth is a really important thing. And the second thing is, even if you do ads, even if you do a little bit of boosting to your post, boosting is the beginning of social media marketing, by the way, beginning of what
Yeah.
ads can look like. There's so much nuances to ads that's there in Ad Manager, and I'm hopefully
Yeah.
going to have a team member who can help me with that someday. But yes, it's very, very important that you know the kind of content you are creating. Two very
Yeah.
important things that exist is, your product should be amazing. Your product should be unique. People should know that, hey, it's a Maikai. People should know that, hey, it's a
Yeah.
this brand. Okay. It's very important to do that. Second thing is,
Stuck here. Uh,
where is
yeah,
Maikai?
that's
If
fine.
I can't
Mm-hmm.
appreciate stuff that I create, if I can't find usability, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. If you can't find relatability and if you don't see wearability in the clothing or whatever you create, jewelry, you
Mm-hmm.
create candles, you create whatever products you create, perfumes, if you cannot wear that yourself, if you can't appreciate that yourself, then it's a lie that you're selling to the world. And that is the most important factor, that every brand should ensure that they love what they are creating. Now, on the flip side, I
Yeah.
want to share another very interesting perspective. Um, when you create something, you may not love everything, okay? And I don't. Sometimes I don't like a certain piece on me. I wouldn't wear it as much as I would wear, say, one of my pieces. And that's absolutely
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's because your brand is not just for you. Your brand is for people. And your
Yeah.
brand should have things accessible to everybody that likes your stuff, everybody that wants to buy from you. Your brand, people are not just like buying your personal style, and that's a very important lesson that I've learned in last 2 years. You may have a certain personal style, you may be wearing a certain pieces more than other pieces, but sometimes I don't wear the same piece as much as I would wear another piece from Maikai as
Mm-hmm.
much. And that's completely okay. The brand, the products that you make are for people out there. And it's not just your personal style. So you have to also accept that you are creating for people. You're not just creating for yourself. And that's a big learning I've had in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That totally makes sense. So I guess we are also short on some time. So we have a few questions here. So let's go ahead with the questions.
Sure.
Um, yeah. So first question is, when you just started, you did did you do all the designing and worked on your own and collaborated with artists? It's just when you started.
Yes. Okay. This will be really surprising to hear, and I hope everybody gets to hear this. Maikai has so far not collaborated with any single person or influencer yet at all. At all. And I want all of you to know that for 1 year or 2 years, or as much time as you need to understand your brand and perfect your brand, you don't need to collaborate with people. Don't just offer stuff for free so that other people can start making stuff for you, because then you are doubting that your product is not good enough, that your quality of stuff that you're making is not great or that is not amazing. And you don't need to do that. Stop being a sellout. Stop giving out stuff for people for free, because it takes your effort. It takes effort and money and time of people that you work with, your artisans, your team members, and all of that. Especially for a small business, I know how much effort goes behind making one piece. So don't
Yeah.
do that. Don't be a sellout. Don't use influencers, this and that, and just go about giving your stuff for free. But yes, once you know who the right, they're public figures, there are people out there who have a certain following, and influencer marketing
Mhm.
is a great space. It's an amazing space to build your brand. But once you know that you are regularly creating products, you're regularly creating content, you're regularly being able to provide meaningful stuff to people who are coming to your page, reach out to people. Reach out to big brands, big influencers, people like that who resonate with your brand. Now, if I say I'm slow
Yeah.
produced, if I say I pay fair pay, I won't go and collaborate with a person that also promotes XYZ brands. I'm sorry, I was going to name some brands,
Yeah.
but I will avoid
Basically
that.
fast fashion. Basically, we can say fast
Yes,
fashion.
yes, I will not go and collaborate or associate with a person that is also encouraging people to use a certain brand that goes against my core values. right? I
Yeah.
have to always make sure what my core values are. First, I need to know my core values. Second, I need to be sure that whether it's me or whether it's people that are aspiring, or whether it's people that brands
Mm-hmm.
that I want to collaborate with, um, you know, what are their core values? What do they stand for? So find your
Yeah.
niche, find the people that actually speak about your brand. Then you will get meaningful customers. Otherwise, you'll get a burst of orders for
Yes.
some time and then it'll be gone. Sustainable brand
Yeah.
building is when you are resonating through and through this space where you are creating a community, where you're creating products, when you're creating an influential base, and all of them are based on the same core value. Very
Mm.
important. What are your core values? So think about that.
Seriously, you hit really the bullseye. So another question is from so she asks that how can we intern with Maikai? Like if you are taking any interns.
I actually had my first intern for the last 4 months, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, I really couldn't.
I guess your video stopped. Yeah,
Regret I have.
yes, we can
And
hear
I
you.
can't
Yeah.
take a person with me on board when, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. With yes, I think the middle portion got cut. We could just hear you till you had an intern for the last four
Okay,
months, and then the pandemic hit.
right, right. So I was saying that I couldn't contribute as much as I could as a brand owner to that person's growth. And for me and for
Mm.
all brands, this is a very important insight and very important point that you must think. When you take an intern or when you take a person on your team, you don't just take them for your own vested interests or your own growth. You need to contribute to their growth. And for me, it's a regret that I couldn't contribute as much to her growth and as much involve her as much in Maikai as I would have loved to, because of the situation of pandemic.
Yeah,
And I think that it will take me still some time, because I want an intern in person. I really don't want
yeah,
a virtual intern. I would love to have an
yeah,
intern. I would love to have a team member, let's say a team member
yeah.
in person. But there will be a right time, and I would definitely um, post stuff out there. I am a really amazing person to work with, by the way. and and I would love to have exciting, amazing, fun people with me, because it's not fun working alone. Sometimes you need a support
Yeah.
system. So for me, I would love to have that at the right time. Post about it, so stick it to the page.
Awesome. So I guess we'll take the last question for the evening. So how do you stay positive if
Okay.
the business isn't running in the full swing?
Wow. That's a very deep spiritual question that I've introspected for last 2 months. And well, okay. One thing is that I talk about my brand a lot with my partner. I live with my partner and I share a lot about what I'm doing, what my next steps are, and where I'm heading. And, if I have something exciting to share, or if I'm disappointed with something, I make it a point to have that
Mhm.
one you know support system, one buddy or one friend that you can like share your stuff with, that you can share
Mhm.
what's exciting or what's your low point and your high points and stuff like that. It's very important to have that, especially for small businesses,
Yeah.
because you're just playing the roles of 40, 50 different people
Yes,
in this one body. And it's super
definitely.
challenging, right? Like suddenly, like just when the brand was growing and was it at its peak, we had a massive decline in sales. Let me talk pure business now. Like we had a massive decline in sales in the first month of lockdown, and I was just like, how did the numbers go down so bad? Okay, it was heartbreaking for me, because we lost 1 year with Maikai first because of the whole lockdown, right?
Mhm.
We lost 1 year already. And right when I spent so much time, I spent so much money, invested so much resources into the sports bra, patenting it, and then you have people copying it and all of that. Like while you're dealing with so much, you go through a phase where you want to create. For me, especially, I don't know if you guys know about the Ayurveda and doshas. I'm a very Vata person. A Vata person is like really somebody who is very creative, ambitious, is thinking about the next thing, and that's me. And that's who I am as a person. And for me, I want to create. And numbers are okay. Numbers are like the end goal. But for me, my most important and most driving force is creation. And I want to launch the next line. I want to do this and I want to do that. Honestly, I've been wanting to launch our international line on Etsy, and I've been wanting to launch our new collection from last couple of months. And right when we were at the right place to launch it, the lockdown happened and the numbers went low. And the reason I spoke about money and the numbers hurt, because another very, very important tip for all small businesses: dedicate a certain percentage of your profits and invest those dedicated numbers back into your business. And I'm big on that. I invest money from my profits into my business so I can create better stuff, so I can put stuff out there. That's You got to be your own competition. You have to beat yourself, right? You have to see what gives you joy. For me, giving joy is when I create stuff and I'm getting better at it, right? So when this happened, the numbers went down. The money that I was thinking of investing in my two lines, the Etsy and the new collection, it didn't happen, right? So it was painful because you're already paying lawyer fees, you're already paying your whatever marketing expense, you have your artisans that you're paying, and you have your spends. Your spends don't stop. But if your inflowing amount stops, then that is a big setback to your business. And for me, it was painful, and it was hurtful to see that, oh, you know what, this is happening. But I promise you, keep creating, keep going like you would a certain reduced capacity, but keep doing as much as you can, and those profits will come. Maybe not now, maybe in 5 months, they will come. And I did just that. I was sad for 1, 2, 3 days, but then I got up and I started creating. I said, okay,
Vidya,
collection, maybe I'll do 2, 3 pieces, and I will have 4, 5 pieces in each. But can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah. But I will do something that makes people happy at this time. I can't just, like, I have a beautiful community out here. I can't just keep them hanging, and I can't keep myself hanging. Very importantly, prioritize yourself. You can't keep your creativity hanging. So I had to go out there and keep creating, keep creating, keep creating. That's how I told myself, hey, you know what? This is going to go, and you just have to float through this. And that's how I kept myself positive, by giving myself what I really love, and I love creating. So that's what I did to stay positive.
That was really useful. That was too much information in the one go, and it was really, really useful for all the small businesses. In fact, all
Thank
of
you.
us as well as a creator also, it's very important because with the lockdown and everything shutting out, you don't have much going around you. But with that, making
Yeah.
content around it, around anything, like keep that going. That was really useful. So with that, I'll just ask the last
Thank
question
you.
for tonight that I ask all of my
Yeah.
guests. So what's that one
Okay.
thing that you would advise yourself when you started?
That's the one thing that I would advise myself when I started. That I will advise myself when I started was learn more before you can start teaching. Simply. Can you hear me?
Yes, 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 we
Yeah.
can.
So I would just tell myself, I don't come from a fashion background. It's just that I love styling and I love designing and I love, I have a way around clothes. I know how to pair things up. I know how to make them look pretty. I know how to just, work around with clothing, and that is
Yeah.
my superpower. So I don't come from a fashion background, but for me to understand fabrics, I do have a tiny bit of dead stock of fabric that I had bought for my first collection, because I did not understand what I wanted my brand to stand for. And
Mm-hmm.
since I wanted it to be slow produced and eco-friendly, those clothes are not very, those fabrics are not very eco-friendly. So I'm a little, I have been a little upset about that, but we moved on for that. And those fabrics are there. I was gifted to somebody at the right time, people who want to make nice dresses and stuff and all of that. So I've kept those fabrics safely. But yes, like you have to always learn more, always be that child who's just like out there in the world with wonder and creativity and learning before you can put yourself out there, because if you don't do that, you may make a fool of yourself. I was smart enough to understand that, okay, this is where I need to do a little bit of rebranding, because
Mm-hmm.
there are certain things I want to change with my brand, and I did it very quickly. But for me, I lost a certain amount of money initially because I invested in fabrics that don't speak to me anymore. I lost that whole
Okay.
connect with those fabrics very soon. So yeah, you learn as much as you can. Honestly, I am learning every single day. Always keep learning. I give myself that advice yesterday. I gave myself that advice yesterday, today, and I will give myself that advice tomorrow, that you got to keep learning and learning till you can put yourself out there. So yeah, that.
That was totally useful, and I totally agree with you on that. All right, so Vidya, we're coming to an end of today's show. Thank you so much for joining in
Thank
and sharing
you.
your insights. It was really
Thank you so
useful.
much. You guys are the
All
sweetest, and you are such a sweet person. So grateful that you called me and I said yes. And yeah, it was lovely getting to know you.
it was lovely getting to know you as well. All right.
All right.
Okay.
I really want to thank everybody who took out their time at this time to come and join us. So big love.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.